Mr. Potato Head spits out vegan facts. Mr. Potato Head spits out vegan facts. Yeah. Hello students, welcome to class. I'm Miss Katie, that vegan teacher, and today we are going to be looking at TikTok at this account called Plants and Plates. Drink soy milk, oat milk, rice milk, almond milk, don't steal milk from a cow. Be vegan, start right now. Follow that vegan teacher, she will show you how. This guy is a very understated kind of animal rights activist, but he does make great points using science-based arguments. But before we get into it, make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet done so. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any future videos. All right, let's get into this. So he has a two-part video actually. And yeah, once again, just don't forget his name is, he goes under the name of plants_and_plates. So make sure you follow him over on TikTok. And we're going to listen to this part. It's part 1. And he has this part 2. Let's look at this.
If you really want to kill the most things, be a vegan. Because the farmers who protect your beans kill everything. I kill one animal per arrow in order for
Okay,
beans.
so in case you don't know who this is,
Kill everything.
this is Ted Nugent, who I think apparently used to be a rock star, and this guy's name is Joe Rogan. So the two of them are having a discussion that went quite viral, and our friend Brian, who is the person who runs Plants and Plates, is going to be responding to this. I'm going to try as hard as I can to not intervene, but it's so hard when I see this nonsense to not respond to it. But we'll let Brian speak today, all right?
Want to kill the most things, be a vegan. Because the farmers who protect your beans kill everything. I kill one animal per arrow. In order to grow tofu, you have to kill every ground squirrel, every vole, every shrew, every snake, every turtle, every frog, every bird, every rabbit, anything that gets in that bean field. I'm either going to plow and dismember, which is why the crows and the seagulls follow the combines over here. And then if anything does survive my first slaughter, I'm going to come in with Monsanto and poison the shit out of everything, so you can have a tofu salad and not be responsible for any death. Fuck you.
So this has been a hugely requested topic, and I get this probably 10 times a day from anti-vegans saying that vegans kill more than non-vegans. So let's take a look at this and see what the reality is. So vegans don't claim to never have any impact on the planet and the animals that live here. We understand that our lifestyles cause some animals to die, but we're going to compare it to a meat-based diet and see if it actually is a reduction in harm or not. So this is the amount of animals that are slaughtered globally every year, and this isn't including the nearly 3 trillion fish that are also killed.
Okay, so I'm just going to go back for 1 second and just want to make sure that you see that chart. Maybe take a screenshot of it if you want to for your own information in the future. But there you have 73 billion chickens are killed annually, globally, and 1.5 billion cows, 1.3 billion pigs, and so on. So let's just keep listening.
This is from the USDA. You can see that cows eat 100 pounds of food per day, and in comparison to people eat about 2 to 5 pounds of food per day. So cows are eating far more food than humans are. This is from Yale. It requires 25 calories of plants to produce 1 calorie of beef. So with this in mind, it would make a lot more sense just to skip eating the animal and eat the plants directly.
So I'm just going to go back a sec because that's another statistic that you might want to memorize. Meat makes for curious math. About 25 calories is required to create just 1 calorie of beef. So of course it makes much more sense for us to eat the plants directly rather than filtering them through animals first. It's better for the environment, and of course the animals don't have to die.
So skip eating the animal and eat the plants directly. 26% of the world's ice-free land is devoted to animal agriculture, and another 33% is devoted to animal feed production. This is from the World Wildlife Foundation. 80% of soy crops are fed to livestock around the world. So this is a chart of crop
Just try to picture that for a second. Picture like a giant football field, and that you're growing some soy there. And most people think when they see these fields that are on TV or whatever, any kind of footage, that all of that, those plants are going to feed humans. And 80% of soybeans soy crops, which is made into tofu as well. But 80% of that is fed directly to the animals. Isn't that insane? Instead of feeding it directly to the humans, it is filtered through the animals. It's crazy.
And slaughter deaths for different types of food. You can see chickens are by far the most because there's the most amount of them killed every year. Beef is also very high because of the amount of calories of plants have to be fed to them. And since animal agriculture is responsible for the most land usage, that's land that's taken away from wildlife, causing more deaths.
Exactly. So that's a great point too. When you take some land and you chop down all of the trees, all of the animals that used to live there have scattered away in order to grow the plants that will be fed to the animals.
So I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking, what about grass-fed beef and what about hunted animals? Well, you have to wait for the second part for that.
All right. So he says we should wait for the second part, but luckily we don't have to wait. So I have it right here. This one here. And he titles it Vegans Kill More, and it's Debunked Part 2. Again, have a look at his account. He has 3,039 followers. I really hope that you guys can get his follower count up. He really deserves to have 3 million followers for all the great work that he's doing. He's an ethical vegan. He's a gym and fitness buff and instructor, and he is living solely on plants.
This is part 2 of my crop death series, and we're going to be talking about grass-fed beef. So 99% of animal products in the United States come from factory farms, and 75% in the UK come from factory farms. So majority of people are eating animal products that come from these farms. But if you don't, then this applies to you. So if everyone switched eating grass-fed beef, we would only be able to produce 27% of what we're currently producing right now. This makes this completely unfeasible for the vast majority of the population. But let's assume it was possible for everyone to eat grass-fed beef. So an important thing to keep in mind is a lot of times grass-fed cows are actually given hay, which is a crop and contributes to crop deaths. But once again, let's assume that's not the case. This is from the National Forest Service. They talk about the profound effects of grazing on the environment, and this causes many species to die out, including plants and other animals. Now let's look at hunting real quick. There are 36 million deer in the United States and 330 million people. If everyone wanted to satisfy their craving for meat, we would wipe out the deer population in a very short period of time. So let's assume there's no deaths in grass-fed beef and in hunting. Would there be an ethical issue with this? So crop deaths during harvests are unintentional deaths. Majority of them are from combine harvesters, but some of them are intentional to get rid of animals that are going to go after the crop. So the big difference between crop deaths and intentionally raising and killing an animal is the rights violations. So I don't see somebody using force to defend their food supply as a rights violation, but I do see someone breeding, exploiting, and killing an animal as a rights violation. Meat eaters calling vegans hypocrites because of crop deaths is kind of like a serial killer on trial calling the jury hypocrites because they all drive cars knowing that 42,000 people die every year from car-related incidents.
It's a really good point.
Just purely looking at the amount of deaths is a utilitarian mindset, and we wouldn't say that for similar situations. If you had 5 people that were dying from failing organs, would we kill one person, harvest all their organs, and save those 5? Most people would say no. The thing is, when you buy a plant-based product, you're not sure whether the product that you bought contributed to these deaths or not. But when you buy an animal-based product, you know for certain that something had to die to make that product for you. This is part 2 of my crop death series.
There you go. Excellent. I mean, I love the way that he always uses scientific data. I love the way that he is very sort of neutral and based on just the facts, just giving the points. And it's a kind of what's interesting about TikTok, in case you don't know the app, is that things go in a circle there. So you can just keep watching it as many times as you need to in order to memorize those facts. So once again, his channel is called plants_and_plates. Please follow him. Please tell him That Vegan Teacher sent you. And don't forget also to subscribe to this channel. Coming up on screen are going to be a bunch of other videos. Be curious. Look around. There are over 2,000, 800, something like that, videos to choose from. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. Take care. Have a great vegan day. Bye. Let's follow that vegan teacher on YouTube right now.